What's up everybody, Steampunk J here coming at you from my humble art studio with another speed art video. You ready to get started, big guy? I knew you were. Let's get started now. Once again, I hope everybody's doing okay. If you happen to be a fellow artist or art fan that has come across my channel for the first time, I welcome you with open arms. That is, if I could physically reach through the screen and give you all a big hug. Yes, I'm a hugger, so be prepared if you ever meet me in real life. And if you don't happen to be a hugger yourself, then I'll take a fist bump or a handshake, whichever you prefer. Just be prepared for that very first choice that I go for. In this art process video that you're seeing right now, I decided to do something different from the rest of my previous videos that I've done. And that is using my own art style to respond to a challenge. So yes, this is my very first art challenge video that I've taken on, and this will require me to use my imagination tank and my art style to undertake this trial laid in front of me. So yes, I am a little nervous because this is the first time that you will actually see how I draw, especially when someone asks me to use my own art style that I have developed and practiced for years. So first things first, I had to pick a topic to draw. So I went to this website that has a built-in generator that spits out random topics, ideas, or challenges that I could work on. I prompted the generator to give me a character topic because I was in the mood to draw some people. And when I hit that refresher button, the topic it gave me was Owl Knight. I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be interesting. My very first art challenge, and I will have to draw a character called Owl Knight. When I do my drawings, I go through a 3-step process: sketching, inking, and coloring. So what you've been seeing so far is me sketching out my character. Now before I begin sketching my Owl Knight, I decided to do some concept sketches to get an idea of what he would look like. I've only done 3 minor concepts and all of them looked great, but I decided to go with this one. Since I'm doing a drawing that is on the topic of character design, I wanted my knight to have the head of an animal and the body of a human. Now I think this fusion of animal and humans are called furries, but since it's a bird and it doesn't have any fur but feathers, I don't know if you can call them that still. I just have no earthly idea, so I'll just call them a hybrid instead. Normally I don't do concept sketches, I just instantly dive into my drawings and hope for the best. But when I was given this challenge, a few good concepts were in my head already that I just wanted to lay them out first and see which one looked okay. After I had picked my best choice, I used that concept doodle to help me draw out the real deal. And after I finished sketching, then I move on to inking my project. There was a lot of thought that went into drawing my Owl Knight. In fact, when the generator gave me the challenge, I was actually thrilled to see that there was the word Knight in the title. Now, I may be called Steampunk J, but I do have a personal favorite theme or genre that I take interest in drawing, and that is medieval or fantasy themed art. I've done plenty of personal drawings in the past that involved sketching or drawing anything from that genre, such as kings, queens, dragons, dwarves, you name it. So sketching out a human-like owl in knight's armor wasn't all that difficult. Now when it comes to drawing armor, I wanted to keep it basic and simple. I understand that when it comes to illustrations, you want everything in the drawing to look real. But since my art style is more of a mix between anime and cartoons, as long as I make the image look like the armor and weaponry, it doesn't matter how much detail you put into the drawing. I just put enough detail into the work so that when the person is looking at the drawing, they can instantly recognize what they're looking at. That's just my way of explaining it, you guys. Once again, when I talk about how I do my artworks, I just say, picture that image in your head and just try to recreate it the best you can. I keep telling myself that I would be a great art teacher, but I get so nervous speaking in front of people that I'm afraid that I would teach the wrong thing or explain it in a way that the people won't understand. But I'm improving on my speech the more I do these art process videos, and I hope that there will come a day where I'll be more flowing in my speech. Well, back to the video. I wanted my Owl Knight to give a generic pose, with a sword and wing outstretched on one side while his other wing is just kind of wrapping around his body. In my head, I wanted the Owl Knight to look like he's on guard, protecting something with his giant wings. Also, having the head of an owl can also give him that extra fear factor in the mix. I know that if I approached a knight in battle and I had the head of an owl with them big, terrifying eyes staring right back at me, I would turn around and get the heck out of there. I mean, I know owls to some people are the cutest animals on the planet, but have you ever looked at them more frightening ones that have eyes that look like they're staring into your soul and make sounds like this? Yeah, not all owls are cute looking and say hoot hoot like they teach you in elementary schools. So when I got to drawing out my owl friend here, I wanted to make him look dignified yet intimidating at the same time. If any of you fellow artists look at the drawing in the end and just think of the owl man as cute, then I accept your opinion of seeing a knight with the head of an owl with demon wings and talons and a sword as cute. So when inking out my avian soldier here, I used a program called Clip Studio. The reason why I use Clip Studio is because I like using the styles of pen and brush tools that the program has. Out of the 3 phases of the drawing that I do to complete my artwork, the inking phase takes up a lot more time than sketching and coloring. I know it's just a simple task of just outlining my pencil drawing with ink, but sometimes my shaky hands can cause me to mess up on some parts. So yes, whenever I outline my works, I tend to mess up a lot. Also, you'll notice that I also tend to make adjustments to my drawing while I'm inking. Just because I draw or sketch out my stuff in the beginning, it doesn't mean that it will look exactly like that in the end. I always try to make the project look just a little bit better. Like, if I feel like my character is unbalanced on some parts, then I can just easily shift a certain part of his body and just make some minor corrections to help make my character or my drawing look more complete. So yeah, outlining my drawings are always time consuming, but greatly rewarding, because I realize that I am just another step closer to finishing. And also, when you ink out your artworks, your drawings look more complete, because drawings done with ink stand out more than drawings done in pencil. Oh, you're right, it looks amazingly awesome. Once I feel like my inking is complete and I've made my final adjustments, then I go into my final phase, coloring. And this segment I enjoy the most. Coloring. What can I say about it? It relaxes the mind, soothes your soul, and constantly reminds you that you are almost finished. So when I'm coloring my drawings, I personally don't think of it as the most challenging, because I just throw down whatever looks good. For the sake of this project, I don't want to overthink everything that I do, because that's horribly what I'm known for. I overthink everything. And when it comes to art, I think of it as the worst thing that I can do. You know the whole thing about how laziness kills time? Well, in my case, overthinking is my time killer. So whatever color I use, I just have to have faith that it will look good in the end. I wanted my drawings, especially this Owlman drawing, to be quick. But you know, when have I ever done a quick drawing? It's the one thing that I never understand about myself, is that whenever I want to draw something simple or basic, you know, something that doesn't take a whole day or a week to draw, I always end up making the drawing look too much. I don't know why I do this, I just can't help it. It's like I want to turn whatever I make into a masterpiece of some sort. To some people, it may not look great or career-making worthy, but I do it because I enjoy it that much. I make the best that I can with whatever knowledge or skills that I have. And when coloring my works, I'm still surprising myself at how far I've come when learning how to use digital means of creating. So when coloring my Owl Knight, I start out with the basic colors and filling in the empty spaces that need to be filled. Oh, and just to add some finesse to the drawing, I used a pillow photo to help add texture to the color. I use it to help make the Owl Knight look like he's wearing clothing, and it actually looks like something that's made out of woolly material. I wanted his cape to be colored purple, which stands for royalty back in the old days, and his uniform to be a combination of moonlight blue and gold. The sword that he is carrying is just a simple generic sword with color purple, gold, and ruby red. The talons, which are the owl's feet, are covered in bronze metal, so I give it a mix of yellow and brownish gold for colors. And finally, when it comes to the owl man himself, I realized that there are so many species of owls in the world with different feather colors and all that. I could make his feathers brown or black or any other hazel-like colors that most people are accustomed to picturing them. But for my knight, I wanted my hybrid to look like a snow owl. The reason why I chose that species of owl to mimic is because I wanted him to look like my favorite character, Biron, from the movie Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Gahu. I don't know if any of you fellow artists and art fans have ever heard of the movie The Legend of the Guardians. It's a digital animated movie about a world inhabited by animals who talk, and there is a society of warrior owls who call themselves the Guardians, who defend their home from the forces of evil known as the Pure Ones. Out of all the animated movies that I have seen in my life, to me, I can say that The Legend of the Guardians is one of my favorite digital animated films. Now, whether the movie was received well by the masses or not, I don't care. I consider this movie a personal masterpiece. I just enjoyed the amount of creativeness that was put into this film. How most of the setting takes place in the morning, evening, or at night. Like, you will never see any broad daylight in the movie at all, which is perfect when we think that the owls are nocturnal animals. So yeah, the people who made the movie did a lot of research when it comes to making a world that is seen through the mind of an actual owl. For my drawing, I actually drew some references from the movie, like the crown that the owl is wearing is inspired from the movie, as well as the talon claws that are also found in the film as well. So if the leader of the Guardians, Biron, was transformed into a human-like knight, I would like to believe that this is what the leader of the Guardians would look like. When wrapping up my coloring, I didn't know what to draw for the background, so I decided to just make up a world behind him, where it is nighttime, then the moon is shining brightly. Now, I wish I could have a special tool where I could just create stars in the background with little effort. But since I didn't have that special tool to help me, I had to improvise and just tap dots on the screen to make the stars. So many stars, so much work. And yet, I had to take very, very special care when making the stars. And with the final touch-ups taken care of, my art challenge is complete. And here is my final turn-in of my owl knight. And oh my, he is the most awesome character that I have drawn so far. You know, when looking at this finished drawing, he kind of looks like a boss that I would have to fight in some fantasy game, or a person that I would summon as an ally in battle, in case I was in serious trouble. Me personally, it would be great for any fantasy tale if my owl knight was involved in any story. Don't mess with Steampunk J, Grand Wizard, or else he'll summon Owl Knight. Power level, maximum. I thank you guys again for sticking with me in this video. If you want to see me take on more art challenges in the future, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more drawings. Also, if you happen to have a challenge in mind for me to take on, then leave them in the comments below, and I will check them out later. To all fellow artists and art fans out there, this is Steampunk J, and remember to keep on drawing.